Hello and welcome to our Christmas video. So some home exercise routines, home Pilates videos that you can practice at home. So we will get started straight away. We'll start with our warm up first, then we'll move on to a main body and then our cool down as well. So we'll stand up nice and tall, legs squeezing together, practicing our breathing first of all. We'll take one hand onto your chest, one hand onto your tummy, on your lower ribs and we will practice our breathing. So as we breathe in, we want our top hand to rise first and then the bottom hand. And then as we breathe out, we want to feel that bottom hand pulling in first and then the top hand. So we'll keep going in that pattern, breathing into each hand in turn, breathing out, letting the bottom hand come in, then the top hand. So we'll go for a few more rounds there in your own time, taking your breathing in and then breathing out. Still standing up tall with each one. We want to imagine someone pulling on the crown of our head up to the ceiling, shoulders back and down. Keep breathing in and out. Last one. And then we'll bring our hands next to our sides, turn our feet apart into our V shape first, and then bring our heels through so our feet are in parallel. We'll take a second there to take our weight all the way forwards onto our toes and then all the way back onto our heels. We'll keep alternating between our toes and our heels, feet staying flat on the floor, but just moving through with our body weight. And we'll come to somewhere in the middle of those two that feels nice and comfortable for you. And then we'll bring one hand onto your tummy, one hand on your lower back, and soften through your knees. We're tucking the pelvis under and then arching back the other way, making that movement as big as is comfortable for you to do. Starting to warm up the lower back, mobilize through the joints in the spine. We'll start to make that a little bit smaller, a little bit less each time, until you're somewhere in the middle of those two movements, somewhere that feels comfortable for you to work with. And then we'll bring your hands back to your sides, straighten through the legs again, but don't lock them out completely. We'll rise up onto your toes, lifting the heels this time, and then lower down and lift the toes away from the floor. So we're alternating between rising up, lowering down, and lifting the toes. As we're doing this, we want to bring awareness to each part of the foot. So we want to feel our heels in contact, then the outside edge of our foot, the ball of our toes all in contact with the floor, and then reversing that on the way down. We'll do two more of those, really thinking about each part of the foot. On the way up and the way down, last one. And then we'll bring our feet flat onto the floor again. We'll keep that position that we found in the feet. We'll keep the position that we found in the pelvis. And then bring our chin to our chest and roll our chin across from one shoulder, back down across the chest to the other side. We'll keep going from side to side. Remembering to keep breathing, a nice regular breath pattern. We'll do one more to each side. And then we'll come back to the center, looking straight ahead. We'll shrug our shoulders up to our ears, rolling them backwards, standing up nice and tall. We'll reverse our circles, rolling them forwards. Keeping an awareness on our feet, we want to have equal pressure on right and left. We're staying over the center of our arches. Bringing the hands up onto our shoulders, we're taking the elbows backwards in circles. And then we're reversing those circles, taking our elbows forwards. We'll bring our arms long next to our sides. We'll add in our breathing. So we'll breathe in as we come up to the front, breathing out, reaching round to the sides. Standing up tall, nice and long through the back of the neck. Two more, breathing in as we come up, breathing out down to the sides. Last one in this direction. We'll reverse our circles this time, breathing in as we come up to the sides, breathing out as we come down to the front. We want to make our fingers as long as possible. Imagine someone pulling your arms away from you to find that length. Two more, breathing in, breathing out. Last one. We'll bring one arm up to shoulder height and we'll keep the center, our belly button through the center of our body. So keeping the lower body the same, we're going to try and reach the ribs across. Turn the hand over, bring it overhead and slide down the opposite leg. Coming back to the middle, we'll do the same thing on the opposite hand, coming up to shoulder height. We'll reach the arm across, keep the belly button in the center. Turn the palm over, reach up to the ceiling first, and then slide down the other leg. Coming back to the middle, we'll go back to the left arm again, up at shoulder height, we're reaching across. Turning the palm over, coming overhead, sliding down the opposite leg. Back through to the center. This is our last one on this second arm, reaching across, reaching up to the ceiling, and then over to the other side. Coming back to the center. We'll bring both arms up to shoulder height. We've got one resting on top of the other. We'll take a breath in to get ready. And then as we breathe out, we'll twist across to one side. We want to keep the center of the forearms in front of the center of the chest. Taking a breath in again. And then breathing out to come all the way over to the other side. Taking a breath in again there. Breathing out, coming all the way over to the second side, to the first side. Last time, breath in, breathing out, all the way to the opposite side. We'll bring our arms back to the center, let them drop down. We'll bring our hands onto our hips and bring our legs outside, outside of shoulder width. So we want about double shoulder width. We're turning the toes outwards and then we're going to lower down into our squats. So we're imagining there's a brick wall behind us. We're keeping our chest and our back sliding up and down that brick wall, not folding forwards. We're breathing in as we come down, breathing out as we come up. So these first couple, they don't need to be all the way as low as possible. You might want to warm up into it a little bit. But the more that we do, thinking about coming, even if it's just 1 centimeter lower, thinking about coming a little bit lower each time. Breathing in as we come down, breathing out as we come up. We've got two more. Breathing out, pushing the feet into the floor. And last one. Lovely. We'll let the arms go relaxed. We'll practice our roll downs. So we're taking a breath in to get ready, and then breathing out to bring our chin to our chest, rolling down towards the floor. So we're making our upper back as round as possible, our mid back as round as possible, and then our lower back, and we're letting the hands hang down towards the floor. When we find a point of stretch, we're taking a breath in, and then we're breathing out to reverse that movement, lower back curving up first, then the mid back, then the upper back, and looking straight ahead. So we'll do the same thing again, but I'll show you from the side this time. So we're standing up nice and tall to start with, breathing in to get ready, and then breathing out, bringing chin to chest, starting to roll forwards from the upper back first, then the mid back. Imagining each segment of the spine moving on its own. We're lowering all the way down to the floor, taking a breath in and breathing out as we return back up to standing. Keep the spine as round as you can all the way to the top. Looking forwards is the last stage. We'll do one more of this one, our nice roll down, breathing in to get ready, and then breathing out, rolling forwards, chin to chest first, upper back rolling towards the floor, hands rolling forwards, stretching down to the floor, taking a breath in, maybe seeing if we can go a little bit lower on this last one. Our breath in and then our breath out as we roll back up to standing. Lovely. I'll turn back to the camera again so that we can see our next version of our squats. So we're still having our hands on our hips. We've still got our feet double shoulder width. We're lowering down into our squats. And this time I'm going to add a heel raise. So we'll lift one heel, then the other, and then we'll push back up to standing. Same thing again, lowering down, lift one heel, then the other, pushing back up to standing. Might feel a bit of shaking or a bit of unsteadiness through the calf muscles or through the ankle. Just keep that nice connection between the toes and the floor. Push the toes down as you lift the heel, pushing back up. We've got two more of this version. Still imagining that brick wall behind us. We're sliding up and down, keeping the chest really upright. And pushing back up. This time we're going to change it up a little bit. So we'll lift our heel before we come down and then lower down into that squat, pushing back up. Drop the heel, we'll swap to the other side. So we're lifting the heel, breathing in to get ready as we lower, and then breathing out as we push back up. We'll swap the leg over, breathing in as we lower, breathing out as we push back up. Lovely. We've got one more on each side. Last set. Our final one here. And we're coming back up. Give those legs a bit of a shake if they're feeling it. We'll take a reach overhead. Bend the opposite knee. We'll sweep that arm around towards the floor, towards the other leg. Then we'll draw that circle to bring ourselves back upright into the center of the legs. We'll do the same with the other arm, reaching overhead, bending the knee, drawing that circle past the first leg towards the second leg. Bring it back up and over into the center. We'll do one more on each side. Reaching overhead first, bending the opposite knee. Sweep the hand forwards towards the opposite leg. Coming back up through the center. And our last one here, hand overhead, bend the opposite knee. Sweep the hand past the legs towards the other leg. Coming back up and through the center. We'll step the legs in, and then when you're ready, we'll come down onto lying on our backs. So we will take a second to stretch before we get started. So we'll bring the knees in towards our chest. Well done for giving those squats a go. There's some challenging ones there with the heel lifts. So pulling the knees in towards your chest. You can maybe rock from side to side if that feels like it would be comfortable. We'll bring the legs back down onto the floor. Let the hands relax next to your side. And then we'll turn our heels together, toes apart into our V shape, and then bring the heels through so that they're parallel. We'll take a second to find our alignment in our lower back. So we'll imagine a blueberry or a grape underneath us. We're squashing down onto that grape, and then we're making a little bit of space above there. Again, squashing down onto the grape, lifting up away from there. We're looking for a position in between those two that feels nice and comfortable, and then we will stay there. We'll bring our arms up above our shoulders. We'll imagine we've got a beach ball in between them, and we'll start just by sliding one leg away, taking the arms back overhead. As you slide the leg back in, we're going to draw a bit of a semicircle out to the sides with the arms. So same thing again, this time on the opposite leg, slide the leg away, take the hands back overhead. As you pull the leg in, create that semicircle with the arms to bring them back to the center. Swapping back to our first leg, arms going back overhead. Semicircle coming round, curling the hands back in. Over to our second leg, slide the leg away. Bring the arms through, pull the leg back in. This time, we're going to lower that leg and slide it away. Hands are coming overhead. We're going to lift the leg up with our hands hovering, and then again continue that semicircle as we pull the leg back in. So leg slides away, hands pause where they are, leg lifts up towards the ceiling, lower it down, and then bring the rest of our semicircle arms, pull the leg back in. We'll do one more on each side, sliding the leg away, hands going back, hands pause where they are, leg lifts up, leg lowers. We continue our arms through our semicircle, leg pulls back in. This is our final one there. Leg sliding away, hands dropping back, hands pausing where they are, lifting that leg up to the ceiling, lowering it down, pull the leg back in, pull the arms round. We'll let the hands relax there for a second, just check in and see if you need to move the lower back at all. And then we'll bring the hands behind the head. So we've got the hands either crossed over or fingers laced together, and we're popping them between the part where our neck and our head meet. We'll take a second to practice our breathing here before we start to lift the head and chest. So as we breathe in, we should feel our belly button rise up to the ceiling. And then as we breathe out, we should pull the belly button down towards the floor and let our ribs come down as well. As we breathe in, we relax that tension, belly button rises up. And then as we breathe out, belly button pulls down. We find that connection to our core. So we're breathing in to get ready and then breathing out as we slide our ribs down to our hips. We're lifting the head and then we're lowering. Our neck has lots of support, so we shouldn't feel too much strain in the neck. Breathing in to get ready, breathing out. Ribs sliding to hips, looking through to the top of our knees, breathing in as we lower. Keep going there. Breathing out, sliding up. Breathing in, lowering down. These next couple, just think about seeing if we can curl any higher up. Might feel a little bit of shaking through the core, but that's really normal. Same thing again, curling up, can we come a little bit higher? Breathing in as we lower, we've got two more. Breathing out, sliding up. Breathing in, lowering down. Last one, breathing out, sliding up. Breathing in, lowering down. So we've had two kind of levels that we've worked with here. We've had the leg lifting and we've had the head lifting. If it's comfortable, we're going to combine those together now, but if you want to go back to either of the previous versions, then we can do. So we're going to bring one leg out straight. We'll keep going with the same leg to start with. So as we lift the chest, we slide through to look at the knees. We're going to lift that leg up. Breathing in, lower them down together. Same thing again, same leg, breathing out, lifting up. Breathing in, lowering down. And again. We've got 2 more on this side, making sure that we are breathing. Lovely, breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. We'll swap the legs over. So we've got the other leg out straight this time. Other knee in bent, keep that foot flat onto the floor. Same thing, we're breathing out as we lift, breathing in as we lower, and again, breathing out as we lift, in as we lower. See if we can curl up a little bit higher each time. Can we lift that leg a little bit more? We have 2 more. Breathing out to lift, in to lower, and last one. We'll bring that leg in, bring our hands back next to our sides. We'll bring the feet together, let the knees drop over to the side. We'll look in the opposite direction with our head. Bring the legs back to the center, take them over to the other side, and again take your head in the opposite direction, feeling a stretch through the lower back. We'll go back to that first side. Again, just letting the feet relax down, take the head, look in the opposite direction. And our second side there. Coming back to the center. Again, we'll just adjust our feet so that our toes are turned apart and our heels come through. We'll take a moment to get ready, hands nice and relaxed, relaxing any tension we feel in the shoulders, and then we'll start to squash that imaginary grape under our lower back, and then start to peel the spine up from the couch, coming up into our bridge, and then let each segment of the spine come down on its own towards the floor. Same thing again, peeling the spine up. Thinking about our spine as a bike chain, we want each link to lift one at a time. Lowering from the chest, then the mid back, then the lower back. We'll add in our breathing this time, so we'll breathe in to get ready. Breathe out as we roll up onto our shoulders. Breathing in as we lower down. 2 more. Breathing out, peeling the spine up, pushing the feet down into the couch, squeezing the bottom at the top. Breathing in, segmental movement of the spine coming back down through the center. Last one, breathing out, peeling up. Breathing in, lowering down. Lovely. So that's our first version. If you want to keep working at that version, then we can do. Otherwise, we will try another layer. So we'll peel up into our bridge, and then we'll lift our hands up as well. We're going to do 3 sweeps of the hands overhead. This is number 2. Number 3, bring the hands back to the side, and then we'll start to lower the spine down towards the couch again. Same thing. So either working on your normal up and down bridges or adding these arm lifts as well. We're pushing the heels into the couch, into the floor. We're coming up with the arms, sweeping them up next to your sides, reaching overhead, hands back. Last one. Keep the bottom nice and high, and then we're relaxing back down to the floor. We've got 2 more. Keep going at your own pace if you're just doing the up and down bridges. Feeling up, push the feet down, Lifting the arms up. That's number one, number two, and number three. Bring the arms back next to your sides. Let the spine return back to the floor. Relaxing there for a second. We've got our last version of this one. Breathing in to get ready. Breathing out as we peel the spine up into our bridge. Holding our bridge at the top. Lifting the arms up. Bring them back to your sides. Lifting again. Back to your sides. Last one. Coming back down, and then let the spine peel back down to the floor. When we're relaxed onto the floor, we'll bring one knee in towards our chest. Take the opposite leg out straight. Pull that knee in. We'll swap the legs over. Take that leg out straight. Hold the opposite knee in towards the chest. And then we'll bring that leg down to the floor as well. Bring the other leg in. So we have one final layer to work with our deep core if you want to give it a go. So our options so far have been the head staying down, sliding the leg. Then we did head staying down, lifting the leg. And then we did lifting the leg, looking through towards with the head lifted, looking through towards the leg. So our final option that we can work on is keeping the head and chest lifted, bringing one leg up, then the second leg up. So we're just going to hold this position, breathing in and out as our final deep core work in this position, lying on our backs. We're practicing our breathing, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Last round, one last in breath, one last out breath, and then we'll bring one leg down, then the other, letting the head and chest come down. When you're ready, we'll turn over onto your front. And we'll take our hands just outside the width of the body. We've got really light pressure onto the hands. They're staying nice and relaxed. And then we're lifting the chest up and lowering the forehead back down. We're only lifting to the point that we can go before we start to squeeze our bottom muscles. We're breathing out as we lift up, breathing in as we lower. Not lifting very high. If we lift too high, then we'll start to engage the lower back, we'll start to engage the bottom. If that feels quite comfortable, then we can add an alternating leg lift. So as we breathe out, we'll lift one leg, and then we'll breathe in as we lower. Over to the other side, breathing out, lifting one leg, breathing in as we lower. Keep alternating there. We've got our chin tucked in slightly, eyes focused down. Breathing out as we lift, in as we lower. Lovely. Breathing out to lift, still alternating from side to side. This is our last round. We've got one more on each leg. And then we're bringing our legs back down to relax. We've got our hands on either side. We'll see how it feels this time. If we leave our forehead relaxing down, nose resting on the mat, and we're just lifting our arms up. So the upper body stays really relaxed, just lifting the arms around the chest. So completely still in the lower body, still in the upper body. Breathing out as we lift, in as we lower. Keeping our elbows in a W shape, sliding our shoulder blades back around our ribs, breathing out to lift, in to lower. Last one. We'll bring the hands underneath our forehead and we'll bring our feet a little bit wider this time. So we'll turn the inside of our feet towards the floor and then we'll start to lift both legs together. If that feels like it's a bit too much or if it's uncomfortable, then we can just lift one leg at a time and then the other. But if you feel comfortable, aim to lift both. So we want the inside edge of our foot facing down towards the floor. Breathing out as we lift, in as we lower. Nice. Don't have to lift very high, thinking more about the height, more about the length, of course, not the height. Breathing out as we lift, in as we lower. Last one. And then if it feels comfortable, we'll combine those two together. So we'll bring our forehead back down onto the mat, chin tucked in. And then as we lift the legs, we're going to lift the arms, lower them down together. Doesn't need to be very high. Lowering them down. We're breathing out as we lift, breathing in as we lower. Last couple there, breathing out to lift, in to lower. Two more. And last one. Lovely. We'll relax the legs down, relax the arms down, and come to turn onto your back. We'll bring one leg crossed over in front of the other. And if it's comfortable, we'll leave it there. If you want a bit of a stronger stretch, we'll lift that bottom leg up towards us. Pull the knee into our chest. Again, if you want to feel a different stretch, we can straighten that bottom leg and feel a stretch in our hamstrings. We'll bring the leg back down onto the floor, uncross, we'll cross over the other way. Again, we can leave it there or we can pull that knee up towards our chest, holding on to the back of the leg, straightening that opposite leg if it feels comfortable. Bring that leg back down onto the mat. We'll uncross the other leg. Bring one leg out straight. Hook the opposite foot behind the knee. Twist that foot, that knee over the opposite straight leg and turn to look in the opposite direction. And come back to the center, swap the legs over, one leg straight, opposite leg bent, twist the knee across the straight leg, have a look in the opposite direction with the head. And then come back to the center. We'll push up into a seated position, sitting up nice and tall. We'll take a long reach down the straight legs towards the ankles. Take as much time as you need there. Taking a breath in and a breath out to reach a bit further down towards the legs, towards the ankles. And again, breathing in, breathing out to go that little bit further. Last breath in and out there. We'll sit up nice and tall again, just separate the legs slightly. So we'll have one leg out to the side, the opposite foot in towards the knee. We'll start by reaching down towards the straight leg, and then we'll open the opposite arm up to the ceiling. So we're taking our chest away from our straight leg. Coming back to the center, sitting up tall again. We'll swap the legs over. Foot coming in towards the knee. We're reaching down towards the straight leg. And then we're opening the opposite arm to the opposite wall. Coming back to the center, reaching down towards that straight leg again. Coming back up, we'll bring the feet together, both knees bent, but you can choose how close or as far away they are as you'd like them to be. Holding on to our ankles, we'll pull our forehead down towards our feet, just as far as is comfortable for you to go, feeling a stretch in the inner thigh. And then when you're ready, we'll come up out of that stretch and come up to standing, taking as much time as you need. So we'll make sure our feet are in our parallel position. And then we'll bring our ear down to our shoulder, using the arm on the same side to make the stretch a bit longer. Coming back to the center, over to the opposite side, pulling on our ear to make that stretch a bit longer again, a bit stronger again. We'll bring our hands onto the back of our head or the back of our neck. We'll look down towards the floor, bringing our elbows together. And then we'll look up to the ceiling, taking our elbows apart. Elbows together, looking down again. Elbows apart, looking up. One more round, elbows together, looking up, elbows apart. We'll bring our fingers laced together up to shoulder height. Imagine you're holding a big beach ball. Take the back of your hands away from you. Bring your chin to your chest. And we'll push the hands a little bit further forwards. Feel the stretch across the upper back. Let the hands come down. We'll breathe in, pulling the hands up. Breathing out, turn the hands over, push them down to the floor. Breathing in, lift the hands up to the ceiling. Take a look up to the ceiling at the back of your hands. Breathing out, reach them round to the sides. Lace them together again at the bottom. We're breathing in, pulling up. Breathing out, pushing down. Breathing in, reaching up to the ceiling, looking up at the ceiling if it's comfortable. Breathing out, round to the sides. And we will finish our class there for today. Well done, everyone.